For those unfamiliar with the Skeptic community on YouTube, it started out in about the mid to late 2000s with the likes of The Amazing Atheist and Thunderfoot. The community originally focused on owning Christianity or whatever.
I'm looking all over for Jesus. Looked in the grass, I've looked in the bush. I'm not finding Jesus anywhere.
Some of you may be thinking, that sounds pretty lame, and it was. So the community around 2013 to 2014 almost universally transitioned to a new topic of inquiry. Their new goal would be to trigger libtarded feminazi SJW cuckolds. Now the idea was that they would use their skills of rational debate.
I'm so sick of this fucking idiotic conversation. Why'd you compare it to a grandmother again? Go ahead. Say a kid with cancer is Go ahead and say it, you fucking idiot.
That they would use when tackling Christianity and use the exact same skills to own feminism. Now, the problem here being that whenever they were trying to apply a logic-based argument on Christianity, they would primarily be responding to stuff like this.
Have you seen these fossil records? Huh? Have you poured through the data yourself? The numbers, the figures? Well, no. No. Oh, interesting. So let me get this straight, Mr. Reynolds. You get your information from a book written by men you've never met. And you take their words as truth based on a willingness to believe, a desire to accept, a leap of, dare I say it, faith?
And at the highest level, they would be responding to arguments like Pascal's wager. Now, when addressing something like feminism, their arguments often couldn't really argue against something that has decades of both scientific and scholarly research behind it. So this would lead the community to pick out easy targets. This would include responding to either the nitpickiest arguments that feminism has to offer, or just poorly delivered arguments that have the right idea. Now, on the surface, this isn't that much of an issue. A lot of these ideas in feminism are well deserving of criticism. The problem being that many in the community would pretend that these ideas represented the bulk of feminism. They would use these clumsy arguments to make blanket statements on the community as a whole. Now, the mainstream audiences feeling kind of left behind by PC culture and feminism gravitated towards these channels, and it saw these channels get millions of views and even some of them 1 million subscribers. Now, around 2015 to 2016, around the time of the presidential election, a trend kind of emerges in the community, best summarized here by Cult of Dusty.
But these people who made all this money and got all this fame off social justice warriors decided that instead of supporting the traditional liberal candidates as they would do normally, they would instead join the alt-right and start attacking Hillary Clinton and embracing Donald Trump. In fact, the focus of the community has become so heavily geared towards attacking feminism and social justice warriors over all else that we got infected by the alt-right.
The Skeptic community was primarily made up of either leftists or centrists, and aligned themselves with either Bernie Sanders or nobody, and they were pretty displeased when Clinton was nominated. This, and Hillary being very popular with the feminist community for the whole being a woman thing, led some of the members of the Skeptic community to align themselves with the alt-right. One of the more prominent examples being Shoe on Head's friendship with Lauren Southern, which she now denounces. The 2016 election as a whole boosted the alt-right community, with outwardly alt-right people.
What do I do, Lord? Destroy the child.
Is soy food consumption turning men into pussies and making them more likely to adopt left-wing beliefs?
What? It's Pepe's become kind of a symbol.
And less outwardly alt-right people. Now, this is where the seeds of a shift in the Skeptic community occur. Some channels adopt a more political approach as opposed to just arguing against SJWs and feminism, while others even shift to scientific content, and others just change gears completely. Some will even do interviews on InfoWars and upload videos where they're laughing maniacally like a supervillain.
How's Le Pen doing now? I'm always ahead of the curve, Phil. I'm always ahead of the curve.
Some stick to the same old SJW shtick. Since now there was a kind of gap in the community with how many people stuck to the SJW criticism, this kind of led the way for the now infamous like feminism-owned college campus Ben Shapiro type videos to pop up and become more popular than anybody in the skeptic community's videos. Now, with this shift in content creation, we also see a shift in their audiences. Some stuck with their favorite content creators as they changed. Others proceeded to go down the feminist-owned, previously mentioned Jordan Peterson, yada 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 type stuff. And then the cool kids started watching good YouTubers. So what really killed the whole skeptic community? Not necessarily its content creators, they're still doing stuff, but the kind of dynamic where 40 people would respond to the same video. I would argue that it was primarily due to stagnation with content, like, again, how many times can you really see the same video being responded to 40 times? Or watch a playlist of 60 videos critiquing Anita Sarkeesian? However, whenever the skeptic community kind of had its stagnation point, this literally paved the way for the alt-right to kind of come in and pick up the community where it left off and even grow a lot more popular.